It is a lively crowd and a good-sized crowd here at the Covelli Center for a very important Big Ten women's gymnastics meet as Michigan State, the number 10th ranked squad in the nation, against Ohio State, ranked at number 16. Both of these teams come in tied for second in the Big Ten in terms of wins and losses. Ohio State with a 6-2 record, as well as Michigan State. You see their overall records right there. Greg Franke along with former Ohio State gymnast Lexi Mattern, and it's great to have an elite level gymnast as a sidekick here today as what should be a very, very interesting matchup. Mentioned these teams are having excellent seasons, especially Michigan State, one of their best in a long time, and they were both at the Big Five meet in Toledo last week, and their scores were nearly identical. They were in opposite groups, but Ohio State at 196.9 and Michigan State at 196.975. So just looking at that, it should be close, but with the added advantage for Ohio State of being at home, that might give them the impetus they need to come through here today. How would you assess the meet here before we get started?
Absolutely. Ohio State has a great opportunity on their hands. They are at home in their home arena with their equipment, with their crowd. The band is here today. And Michigan State is one of the teams to beat in the Big Ten right now. They are an incredible group of girls. They're having a career season for this team, and Ohio State has an opportunity to be the underdog and to come out on top at home.
Of course, Michigan is the number 1 squad in the nation, and they're probably going to be first place in the Big Ten, but when one thinks in terms of the postseason and the Big Ten championships coming up and possibility of national competition, how much of a leg up would it give a team to really perform well and come out with a victory and a really high score here today going forward?
Well, a leg up would certainly be something if that was possible in gymnastics, but unfortunately it is anyone's competition at any day. Which makes it interesting. However, like you said, Michigan is number 1 in the country. They're number 1 in the Big Ten. They are the team to beat. However, it's now a race for who's going to be number 2, 3, 4, and now it's up for grabs who's going to be number 2 in the Big Ten. Minnesota, Michigan State, Iowa, and Ohio State are in the top 5 along with Michigan, and they are coming to play. They're coming for Michigan. They are coming for that number 1 spot, and today is crucial for both Michigan State and Ohio State to be able to put a big number up and to give them a boost in their rankings, both in the Big Ten and nationally.
At that Big Five meet in Toledo, Ohio State had their 4th highest score, not just this year, but in program history, their highest in nearly 10 years. So that would seem to indicate, and as we were looking at some of the scores progressively throughout the season, they have been getting better, and that's what you want to do. You want to peak at the top time of the year, and the fact that they had such a strong performance in that meet would indicate that they're on schedule in terms of where they want to be at this time of year, I would think.
Absolutely. You want to progress as the season goes on. You want your team scores to raise every meet. It means that your team is becoming more consistent. Your routines are becoming more polished, more defined, which is what the coaches want to see. It's what the judges are expecting to see as your schedule progresses. As championship season comes up, you're really just playing a consistency game against yourself and your teammates. So to come into a meet with the record that Michigan State has, and their scores are just going up and up and up every single meet, that's impressive. Ohio State, right before the Big Five competition, had a not-so-great meet for them, and then for them to go into an arena and go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the Big Ten and to put up the number that they did, it was the best that they've had this season, and it's the best we've seen from Ohio State as a school in years. It means that they are ready to play this postseason, and Michigan State will have a very talented team to compete against today.
Yeah, and you were on some pretty outstanding teams yourself, and that they had a higher score even than all of those teams, that certainly says something. As far as Michigan State, they had, as I said, a slightly higher score even at that Big Five event as Ohio State. They just barely missed their second 197 score of the season, and 197 is sort of a threshold that teams look to really show that they are in contention to do
Yes.
very well. And so they seem to be on that same trajectory of reaching their peak at this time of year.
Absolutely, and we can talk a little bit about that magic 197. As teams become more elite, we're talking about the elite level of college gymnastics in itself. It is highly sought after. It's such a prestigious thing. But once you are able to not just be elite, but to be elite in the top 10 of collegiate gymnastics, you're really honing in on those 197 scores, which means that your team is just perfect on, just missing that perfect mark on every event. And that is such a hard thing to do, because we talk about that 6-up 5 count, and of those 5 routines, you're averaging well above a 9-8 to get to that 197, 198 range, where these schools like Michigan and Minnesota in the Big Ten are reaching week after week.
Looking at some of the athletes that we're going to be watching here today that certainly bear keeping an eye on, as Ohio State is going to be starting off on the vault. And Raina Malice, he has been doing very well on that event. A career high 9.925 on the vault in the Big 5 meet. JoJo Warga had an outstanding event on the beam, her
Yes.
first career individual title with a 9.925. For Michigan State, their freshman Gabby Stephen, 3 Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors already, and was a Big Ten gymnast to watch. And so she's certainly going to be one to watch with interest here today for Michigan State.
Absolutely. Like we mentioned earlier, Michigan State is led by a power freshman class. Co-head coaches talked to me earlier today about how their freshman class came in with big goals. They said, we are breaking records. That is our goal. We're pushing big numbers, breaking records every meet. We're doing it time after time. And that's what they said in the fall, and they are doing it. They manifested that, and this is what they're doing. Ohio State came in with similar mindsets. We talked to Coach Polisiewicz about that earlier in the season, and both teams are breaking records this year.
So we are just about ready to go here. Ohio State beginning on the vault with freshman Caitlin Grimes. And we are underway with the competition.
Starting off with the Yurchenko full. Great height off the table. She did have a slight leg separation and a hop backwards, but overall a very powerful vault to start off for Ohio State. And that will be something that they want to capitalize on and keep going with that momentum. Take a look at it again here. Yurchenko entry, that round off back handspring, huge block. Her legs did separate right before she landed, but great job for Ohio State.
So now on bars for Michigan State, Gabby Stephen. She's the one that we talk about. 3-time freshman of the week in the Big Ten.
And we're seeing why. This is a beautiful routine. Her composure is being kept here. Oh, just slightly almost over the bar there, but she held it together. A little off on that blind full. Small hop back on the landing, but she is a rock for this bar lineup. Great leadoff routine. Small mistakes there, but overall, great routine.
She was second in the all-around at that Big 5 competition last weekend. And now back for Ohio State on the vault.
Another Yurchenko full. Beautiful in the air. Her legs were absolutely glued together. Small hop back. Strong vault for Ohio State.
It was Nicole Riccardi.
Yes. Again, we're looking at that vault. Good height off the table. Her chest was up on that landing. That's what the judges want to see. That small hop back. But she was in control. If you're going to take a hop, you should be in control the whole time.
You need to generate so much power just to do what you have to do,
Right.
but you also have to keep it under control.
Absolutely.
And that balance is key. As now we
Caitlin
back to
Grimes
the
with
bars.
a 9.8. Good start for Ohio State.
Bailey Garcia is next up for Michigan State on the bars. She really is a standout on the beam, which is, we've talked about that before. To have some really strong performers on the beam is very, very important for your overall squad. Let's see how she fares here on the bars. She won the all-around against Ohio State and Nebraska in a tri-meet last year in her Spartan debut. So certainly she is capable of everything, although she really excels on the beam.
This Michigan State team is very young, which is nice that you're not going to lose some of those powerhouse athletes that they've been utilizing this season to have this career year that they've been having. So this is a great place for Michigan State to be in. Beautiful cross handstand to start. Toe shoot release up to the high bar.
Entering this year, her high score on bars was 9.825.
She's a very clean athlete on this event. We're seeing not a lot of form breaks, a little short on that cast handstand into that blind full. Into a double layout with a stuck landing. That's incredibly difficult to go from a pirouetting element right into a dismount, and she did it with ease.
On
amazing
a foreign
routine.
apparatus.
Right.
Well, that shows how she has had the success that she's had and do so well in all around. You have to be good at everything.
Wow.
This next set, that's an outstanding vault.
Sydney Jennings with one of the best Yurchenko fulls you are going to see in NCAA gymnastics.
It's worth another look.
Absolutely. We're going to have a Yurchenko full. Watch her entry. Her legs are glued together in the air. She opens up, sees the ground, and her feet don't move. It doesn't get much better than that.
So Ohio State seems to be off to a strong start on the vault.
A 9.85 for Nicole and a 9.9 already posted for Sydney Jennings. That is incredible, especially with the start value over Yurchenko full only being at a 9.95. It means that the judges only found a half of tenth wrong with that vault. I'm not sure where that half a tenth was. I couldn't see it, but...
Well, you told me yourself that no matter how you do, there's always something. I don't know how well you do, there's always something to criticize, right? So there's a good example of it. Now here's another outstanding gymnast on the bars. We mentioned Leah Mitchell, tied for second overall on the bars with a season-high 9.875 at that Big Five event in Toledo. So we should be looking for a big routine here.
Good cast handstand. Toe shoot release to the high bar, right into an overshoot. Her legs are not coming apart, and that's what the judges want to see. Everything glued and locked together. That handstand was unfortunately a little short, but she's gearing up for a double layout dismount. A little soft in her knees on the landing. However, overall a beautiful routine for Michigan State.
Two-time all Big Ten selection. One-time second team, one-time first team. In 19 and 20 respectively. Back to the vault.
Wow.
And another one.
Ohio State is hot on vault right now. You are right. A beautiful Yurchenko full from Lexi Edwards. We'll take a look at it again. Great entry. Tight in the air, opens up, finds the landing. Tiny, tiny hop backwards, but she is in control. She knew where that ground was. Should be another
by the knee brace there.
No, she had a knee injury quite a few years ago, so for her to compete at the level that she does is astonishing and inspirational, to say the least.
Next up, Jory Jacquard for Michigan State. And so far, both teams seem to be hitting a lot of their routines or a lot of their vaults, as the case may be.
And that's what you want to see. You, as a spectator and as an athlete, you want to see each team put their best out, and then you want to see who comes out on top. A 9.725 for Leah Mitchell from Michigan State.
Jory Jacquard's, this is entering this season. Her high on bars was 9.925. So she's capable of doing
beautiful Jaeger release.
Great work here, as you can see.
Her arms are extended. You want to see that straight line all the way from her fingertips to her toes. Beautiful cast handstand. These are the details the judges want to see at this level of gymnastics. Everything perfect. Big hop back. Little out of control on that dismount, but that was an excellent display of a bar routine.
Jenna Klaubach next up for the Buckeyes on vault.
Beautiful vault for Jenna Levak. She does one of the most interesting vaults that you're going to see, and she does it very well. She's very tight onto the table. A good block. We're going to see it again here. Gives Ohio State a twisting onto the table. Let's go, sees the landing. Hop back, but you saw the smile on her face. She's very happy with that vault. A 9.775 for Alexis Edwards from her teammate before her.
And just a back and forth competition right now.
That it is.
Seems like they're just upping the ante with each performance, and who can continue this.
A 9.875 for Jenna Levak. That is a 10-0 start value for Ohio State. That's why that score's a little higher, even though she did take that small hop backwards.
That's a Czech pronunciation. I gave it the native pronunciation there. And next up for Michigan State, Skyla Schulte, another very promising young gymnast on their squad.
Jory with a 9.825, her teammate before her.
We mentioned that Gabby Stevens 3 times has been the freshman of the week in the Big Ten. Skyla Schulte twice has been the freshman of the week. So if she does it this week, she can tie for the lead in that category. Both she and Steven were Big Ten gymnasts to watch preseason.
Gearing up for her dismount. Strong double layout, hop backwards on the landing. That was a big routine for Michigan State. You saw a beautiful chapache to start off her routine, transition back down to the low bar, and then geared up for a huge double layout.
They do a great job of making those hops look natural.
Right. Raina Malice, Yurchenko full, hop back on the landing. Great block off the table, as you saw there. Ohio State came to play today.
She's the one that we said is their team leader on the vault. Had a 9.925 at that previous meet.
Watch it again. Good block, tight in the air, saw the ground, just a small hop back. Can't forget the smile.
You never know what kind of impact that might have.
Right. They want to see you having a good time.
A good look at the perspective when she landed at the crowd on hand, and it's a very enthusiastic crowd, and I think that they're enjoying what they've been seeing from both teams, and a lot of East Lansing not far away, and a lot of Spartan fans here in attendance as well. Delaney Hartness up next.
Oh. We have a 9.8 for Raina Malice, finishing out the Buckeye lineup.
Not quite what she got last week, but that was her career high and certainly a good score.
Always wanting to top your career highs, but it's difficult to do when your career high is that high.
Comes a point where you can't keep outdoing yourself. There's only so many points you can get.
Absolutely.
A bit of a delay here. They should be getting the salute here.
Oh,
and here we go. Starting
off on the high bar. Little short on that cast handstand. Toe shoot into a beautiful ginger. Her arms were fully extended when she caught the bar. That's what the judges want to see. Overshoots a handstand as she's right back up to the high bar. Good cast handstand. Just the dismount left. Full in. Oh, and unfortunately she does take a few steps and sits it down. That'll be the first fall of the evening. But she was last, so it looks like Michigan State won't have to count that fall.
And we've discussed earlier how if you're going to have that happen, it's better to have it at the end than at the beginning.
Right. It will definitely disrupt the momentum of your lineup. Emma Pritchard with a Yurchenko full. Absolutely beautiful She is in the the exhibition spot for Ohio State. If you're not familiar with gymnastics, the exhibition spots give athletes an opportunity to compete and have their score not quite count for the team. It's basically experience at this point. And Coach Policivic has said you're only as strong as your exhibition competitors, and that was pretty darn strong. So if Emma had to go up in a lineup, she would be ready to go.
I'm sure it's happened many a time where they said, boy, if we could have only counted that exhibition score.
Absolutely.
We have an exhibition scheduled on the bars for Michigan State. Delaney Harkness, the last one she went, if there's any relation to the former Red Wing coach, Ned Harkness.
9.825 for Skyla.
Now again, as we compare the scores, we keep in mind that it's important to note which events that the teams have done. We go back to that last meet that you and I were at when Penn State had the lead through the whole match, the whole meet, but Ohio State had not been on the floor yet, and they just really brought it on the floor that day, everybody hitting their routines, and Ohio State ended up edging them at the end, whereas Penn State was struggling a bit on their beam routines.
Absolutely, and that was something that Penn State had struggled with in meets prior, but Penn State was having a career day leading up to it, so it was very possible for Penn State to pull out the win, and unfortunately for them, Ohio State just did that much better on the floor.
It was certainly a very dramatic ending. Who knows, we might be building up to something similar today, as we'll see Tori Loomis's exhibition routine here.
Line change into a straddle Jaeger. Good extension. It's a good pack salto in the air, a little close to the low bar, but she kept going. It's a good cover up.
He's a junior from Texas, gone all the way to Michigan State.
Very close to that stick there at the end, but good routine. She had a good cover out of that Pak salto to the low bar, but overall a strong routine for an exhibition.
She was a transfer from Utah State, so she started off a little closer to home before heading out to Big Ten territory. So that concludes the first event for both teams, and it certainly appears that, as you said, both teams have come to compete here today. And we'll be right back to the Covelli Center after rotation one. There's your scores. It's going to be an exciting day here in Columbus. So the team switch, and we'll have Michigan State on the vault, Ohio State on the bars. Keep an eye out for Colby Miller for the Buckeyes on the bar. She is 7th in the Big Ten in the event, with a national qualifying score of 9.865. There is Michigan State's vault lineup. And on this one, Gabby Stephen is the anchor.
How front-loaded this lineup is. Freshman, sophomore, freshman. We have it again. We have two seniors, but this is a packed lineup with very young athletes.
I've always thought it interesting that in most sports, if you have that many underclassmen, you think it's a detriment. But of course, in the major competitions in gymnastics and the Olympics and so forth, the youngsters do really, really well, sometimes winning gold medals. That
was Alyssa starting off the vault. We'll see it again here. Good Yurchenko full, legs glued together. A little bend in the hips before she hits the ground there. Judges want to see the extension through the hips the entire time, but overall a very clean vault. Great start off.
The Buckeye from Springboro, Ohio. She was junior national qualifier in 17 and 18. Now on the bars, Ohio State Zoe Schweitzer leading it off.
Toe shoot up to the high bar, slight leg separation. Not sure if the judges can see that from the side though, but very clean nonetheless for Zoe. Beautiful cast handstand. Good blind full into this double back. She sticks the landing. The crowd is excited. Her teammates are excited. That is how you start off a bar lineup. Zoe's been a rock. for Ohio State, and that's why.
Well, you see the spontaneous joy there. You can't pretend on that as we go back to the vault.
Looks like
that's
we
Lauren Sue.
just missed it, but it looked like it was a stuck landing. Maybe we'll see that again here.
And you see the same response as far as the Michigan State team. Here we go.
Lauren does a Yurchenko full. Sticks the landing, very, very clean in the air. We did see her pike down just a tad bit, but the judges are happy with it. Alyssa with a 9.775, followed by Lauren's 9.9.
Next up for Ohio State on the bars is Alexis Hankins. She was outstanding in the floor the last 3 meets. Let's see how she fares here on the bars.
Don't quite have a score yet for Zoe. Still waiting on that to come in. It could take us a second before Alexis Hankins is able to go.
She was from Nebraska. She has been a state beam champion there, so we mentioned she's been outstanding on the floor. Her career high on the bars, 9.875 in a tri-meet between Maryland and Penn State.
And a 9.775 today. Right to the high bar. Beautiful cast handstand into her blind change. Big release, fully extended through those arms to her toes. Beautiful transition back down to the low bar and a switch kick. Up to the high bar, a little short on that cast handstand, but still very tight, gearing up for this dismount. Double layout, small hop forward, but the chest was up. She's excited.
And her whole team excited with her. And it looks like Ohio State's momentum from the vault carrying over to the bars.
Back to vault. Yurchenko full, stuck landing.
There's Bailey Garcia.
Bailey had a very, very clean entry and flight out of her vault. We're going to see it again here. See the entry. Arms are glued to her head. Nice tight vault. Slight pike down, her legs come apart, and she's a little squatty, but overall, it was clean. And that's what Michigan State needs right now, clean, consistent vaults.
Her career high entering the year on the vault was 9.8. She won the all-around last year between Nebraska and Ohio State.
They have very clean landings. A 9.825 for Bailey is already posted.
So she now has exceeded her career high entering this season. And that was her Spartan debut that she won that all-around with the Huskers and the Buckeyes. Now we go back to the bars again. Lexi Edwards.
Lexi Edwards is high-flying in this bar routine. She's very clean and in control. I expect to see the same thing today. 9.725 for Alexis Hankins, posted before her. Toe shoot, beautiful. Absolutely textbook toe shoot release to the high bar. Into a pack salto. She's hitting every handstand. She's not giving the judges room to take any deductions. Beautiful cast handstand. Good push into that blind full, double back. Stuck landing.
And this is getting to be a routine. At the conclusion of every routine, the whole team rushes them. And well deserved.
Good routines deserve great responses. Yurchenko layout full. That was the most height we've seen from Michigan State on a vault thus far. She was tight in the air, and unfortunately she did have a large hop backwards. We'll see it again. Great entry here. Huge block. You see her extended in her hips. No pike down. Just wasn't quite ready for the landing there, and a big hop back.
With Skyla Schulte from Bolingbroke, Illinois. She was College Gymnastics News Top 15, which is basically 5-star recruits. One of the most promising young gymnasts in the Big Ten.
It's a 9.825 for Skyla. Michigan State is posting some big scores for these vaults.
Stephanie Berger. She's rated 9th in the national qualifying score of 9.875 on the beam. And she prepares to mount the bars. And she's got a lot to live up to here, the way that her teammates have been performing, but that often serves to provide momentum that the rest of the gymnasts just feed off of.
Absolutely. Beautiful cast handstand toe shoot. Up to the high bar. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. Her toes are locked and pointed, glued together. Her form and execution is beautiful. Blind full, double back, stuck, landing. This crowd is going insane.
The freshman from Boston nails it, and they just keep right on rolling.
That was an amazing bar routine. It doesn't get much better than that. 9.85 for Alexis Edwards before her. Back to vault.
Lainey Harkness.
Yurchenko full. She had a strong entry. It looks like she did pike down a little bit and unfortunately had a hop forward. She left her chest down on the landing. See it again. Good entry there. See her pike down. It's a little loose, small hop forward, but she was in control, so that's good.
Coming off the fall on the bar routine, you want to come back strong, and she did there.
Not the vault Michigan State wanted, but it's not a fall, so it's still salvageable.
Colby Miller, she's the one who's been leading Ohio State on the bars.
Don't have a score yet for Steph Berger, but Ohio State's excited, so I'm expecting a good one. Colby Miller is a rock for this lineup. A 9.9 for Stephanie Berger. Huge score for Ohio State. Colby Miller, a senior for Ohio State, has been one of their most consistent athletes in her tenure here at Ohio State.
You know, these scores talk about setting the bar high, literally.
Beautiful release. Overshoot. She hits that handstand and pauses for a second. Very difficult to do. Back up to the high bar. Amazing cast handstand. She's gearing up for this dismount. Double layout. Stuck. That is why she is the rock of this bar lineup. Does what she needs to do. Even Brutus is fired up.
They couldn't land more solidly if they were landing in cement.
No.
And here is
the crowd's yelling 10.
Gabby Stephen, the outstanding freshman. Little forward hop there.
We'll get to see that again here.
Look at her attack that vault.
Powerhouse. Beautiful in the air. She had beautiful lift, just was a little too ready for the ground. Just forgot to wait just a hair. Small hop forward. But that's one of the best entries I've seen. And Yurchenko full. Had to be a little bit more patient there at the end.
Just the slightest mistake can result in something noticeable, but she'll work that out. And when she approaches like that, and when she gets that down,
right, championship season
exactly
still to come.
And she's only a freshman, as we said. Money in the bank.
Colby Miller still waiting for a score to follow that 9.9 from Steph Berger. Gabby Stephen with a 9.725 for Michigan State.
Next up on the bars for Ohio State is Nicole Riccardi.
She's the anchor for Ohio State. Colby Miller with a 9.925. Incredible.
Up until this year, Nicole Riccardi was primarily a vault performer. But as you say, she's anchoring on the bars here.
She has a very unique bar routine, and you'll see why here. Beautiful cast handstand, toe shoot, release, catches the bar effortlessly. Transition down to the low bar with the hack salto there. Oh, had to pull it back over the bar. She's a little loose in her belly. Transitions back up to the high bar. Excellent cast handstand. Stalled her up to handstand, double back. Sticks the landing. These bar routines are incredible.
It's becoming repetitive.
Yes, in the best way possible.
Best way
you want
possible.
to see the consistency. You want to see each routine build. They should get better and better as time goes on. And Zoe started them off the way that you're supposed to. Let the momentum build and let the routines get better each time.
Leah Mitchell, an exhibition vault.
That was absolutely gorgeous. I think that would have been maybe one of the best vaults we saw from Michigan State. She had a great entry, height off of the table. Her chest was up on the landing and a small hop back.
Someday they're going to alter the rules so that if someone does great on the exhibition, they're going to let them count it.
It's like a mulligan, right?
Exactly.
Chest was up, beautiful form, just the slightest hop. I'm sure they would have liked to count that in the lineup.
Jenna Hleibach still has an exhibition routine on the bars.
We're still waiting for a score for Nicole Riccardi to follow Colby Miller's 9.925. Ohio State's cheering again. I wonder if they know something we don't.
No, evidently it's something good. Well, you certainly could see the quality of the consistency and the quality of those bar routines.
It's a 9.9 for Nicole Riccardi.
Just one stuck routine after another.
Beautiful free hip into a ginger. Absolutely beautiful. No form breaks. Legs are glued together. That straight line all the way from her toes to her hands. Good cast handstand. Line full, a little short of that handstand, but a stuck dismount.
One more for the road. Why not?
Just adding them up.
Well, Michigan State was pretty solid on the bars, but
that they were.
That was what we just saw from Ohio State was extraordinary.
That it was. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with both teams right now. This is definitely a great competition we have going on. Michigan State looks strong. They're competitive. They're going to an event that they are notoriously known for their artistry and their technique. Ohio State is heading to Beam, where they've been very strong. JoJo posting a career high, being in the lineup for the first time. So we've got ourselves a competition.
We've got ourselves an entire meet's worth of excitement already, and we're only halfway there. We'll be right back to continue as they switch to the beam and floor when we return to the Covelli Center. We're back here at the Covelli Center, and if what we've seen so far was the appetizer and this is the main course, then we've got quite a spectacle to look forward to. And of course the floor, that's where you typically get a lot of the real entertaining performances.
Absolutely.
And Ohio State starting off on the beam, which is strong for them, and as we pointed out, if you're strong on the beam, that certainly is helpful, because that tends to be, if there's one event that teams sometimes have more difficulty in than others, it is the beam. So we'll see if they can continue to on with the momentum that they've had so far and then finish on the floor. They've already got a lead here. That could really carry them right through the meet.
Yes. I mean, the beam is 4 inches wide, 16 feet long, 4 feet off the ground. It is daunting for some, but not this Ohio State beam lineup. They are ready to go. And Michigan State, again, strong on floor as always. So they have a long line of incredible floor workers They always have. Ohio State, calm, cool, collected on beam, in meets passed. Zoe Schweitzer is going to start them off, and she is incredible. She is a rock. Here she is.
Talking about the difference between the familiarity of the apparatus, I would think on the beam that would be the most comforting to have that familiarity.
Yeah, every beam feels different. Zoe with that beautiful front aerial into her beat jump. Being comfortable on the beam is key. Back handspring, layout, step out, sticks it. Split jump, ring jump. She loses sight of the beam and has to pull her head forward at the last second. It's very difficult, and she does it and doesn't move an inch. Full turn, a requirement. Just the dismount, side aerial, tuck, full stick. It's just that simple with Zoe, and that's why she leads them off. She is a rock, not a bobble, does it with a smile on her face.
Stuck landings are becoming the norm here for Ohio State.
It's to be expected at this level of competition, and the expectation's high. Michigan State on floor, known for their artistry, high level of competition.
Sydney Ewing.
Front double full, incredibly difficult, beautiful landing.
He's out of Frisco, Texas, a 7-year level 10 gymnast, 2-time junior national qualifier, freshman. First on the floor in the 16 regional competitions.
She's performing like she's on stage. She looks confident, cool, and in control, gearing up into the second tumbling pass. 1.5, punch front full. Her legs were a little bent on that front layout, but she was in control, sticks the landing. Team runs out to greet her.
We've seen a lot of exuberance here from both teams, but both well deserved.
Great way to start off. Michigan State on the floor.
They're not just trying to put a good face on it. These are legit performances. And up next on the beam for Ohio State is Alexis Hankins.
Zoe Schweitzer with a 9.775 in the leadoff position.
Mentioned earlier that Alexis hails from Nebraska, Omaha, where she was the 2016 state beam champion. Had a 9.9 on the beam against Maryland and Central Michigan as a freshman.
Back handspring, layout, step out with a smile. Tight legs, pointed toes. You want to see the extension through her fingertips into her toes. That straight line's very important. Kick over, beat jump. That connection is crucial. It's required. Switch leap, split quarter. Landing sideways on that beam can be very scary to watch, but not so much to do, and she does it effortlessly.
She seemed completely at home on that very narrow apparatus.
Round off double full, hop back, but that was the only major deduction I saw, Greg.
And you've got a pretty discerning eye. So I would say they're keeping their record going of stuck performances.
I would say so. Stuck performance, not quite on that landing, but it was a beautiful double twist. She saw the landing. Back to floor.
This is Nia Smith.
Front tuck through to a double back. Lands a little short with that chest down. You always want to step backwards.
always interesting, the musical selections that they choose.
Yes. Really shows the athlete's personality. You can even see the athletes from her team dancing along with her behind her. 1.5 front layout. Sticks that front layout. Difficult to do on floor. That blind landing.
She was a Big Ten gymnast to watch in 2020. Her high entering this year on the floor was 9.85. It was at a tri-meet between Nebraska and Ohio State last year.
Last tumbling pass. Double pike. Huge double pike. Great amplitude. In control. Stays in bounds. Great second team for Michigan State. Very, very clean. High level of artistry. All of those details count towards their score.
Well, one thing you can say, if Ohio State is leading this meet, and they appear to be at this stage, it's not because Michigan State hasn't been bringing it.
That is correct. Michigan State has put up a very tough fight thus far, and they are doing great routines. Emma Pritchard for Ohio State, key athlete for them.
She won the beam competition against Rutgers last year with a 9.85. Hang on, that's the first rule, stay on the beam, and she could not quite manage it.
She started off very strong and confident, and unfortunately just was a little off on that back handspring layout step out. This is when the saying everything counts comes into play. She's in the middle of this beam lineup, so the routines after her count. They have to count. Her routine may have to count as well. Ideally, they would like to count everyone else's and drop the fall. But everything you do from this point on counts. Beautiful side aerial to lay out full, sticks the landing. Not the routine that she wanted.
It's probably the first time that we've had to say that today. The
for the
team showing,
Buckeyes.
offering their support, but she really finished well.
Started well and ended well. So that counts for something. Her teammate before her, Alexis Hankins, got a 9.825.
So you're discussing it with Coach Meredith Paul-Civic. I'm sure that she'll nail the next one.
Sydney Ewing, 9.875.
Here we go with Gabby Stephen. This ought to be good.
She started off with a very unique first tumbling pass and unfortunately landed a little low out of that front tuck, but recovered well. 2 9.875s are ahead of her for this floor lineup. Beautiful jumps, that extension all the way through her legs. Round off back handspring, double pike. Small step forward. Again, you always want to step backwards, but she was in control and that chest was up.
She won all 5 titles at a prestigious Circle of Stars competition prior to her arrival at Michigan State. And she's going to win a lot more throughout her career, the freshman from Elgin, Illinois.
Not the routine that she wanted to do. However, she looked effortless in those jumps and leaps. Her artistry was very high.
It was the same thing when she was on the vault. You said her approach was magnificent and didn't quite have the landing that she wanted, but you can see the tremendous potential that is there and it's going to be realized.
Emma Pritchard on beam back handspring layout, step out. Beautiful. Straight legs, pointed toes, the basics, but again, it's what makes a great beam routine great.
When it goes at every level of competition, that's what you need. You start with that.
Switch leap, split half. Her legs almost extend past that 180 degrees. The judges want to see that next level of leap and jump. Split leap, side aerial, layout full. Just a small little foot movement on her dismount, but beautiful, beautiful routine for Ohio State. That's how you come back from a fall. Emma Pritchett with a 9-1. A look at that dismount. Huge connection. She goes from a leap to an acrobatic skill into that dismount. Very, very difficult, and she does it beautifully. And Coach Paula Civic is very, very happy with Stephanie Berger.
It's just you're carrying a little added pressure knowing that that fall is there, and they have to really make theirs count, and she certainly stepped up and did just that. Next up, Leah Mitchell.
Gabby Seaman with a 9.8. Great score.
She had the top score for Michigan State on the floor, 9.9 in that Big Five competition. 4 Spartans posted scores of 9.9 or better, so they're very strong on this event.
Beautiful double back to open up her floor routine. She's having fun. Her teammates are dancing along with her. This is a high energy routine. 1.5 front layout. Beautiful artistry coming out.
This is where they really get in their element.
Floor is entertaining. It's fun to watch. You don't have to be familiar with the sport to understand how fun these routines are, and that the athletes just enjoy being out there showing off their personality.
And regardless of the score, it's very entertaining at a high level of gymnastics.
Excellent execution on that switch side popa. Having a little fun with the judges there, gearing up for this last tumbling pass, round off back handspring, double pike. Beautiful clean landing. That's the best floor routine we've seen all night. They're fired up. I would be fired up too. That was incredible, fun to watch.
Well, she led them in the latest competition. Looks like she might well lead them again here today. If we go back now, Stephanie Berger.
With a 9-9. Sydney Jennings up next. Beautiful full turn. Sydney Jennings has one of the best game faces I've seen on this event. Back handspring. Swing through to a side aerial. That game face never changes. I love it.
One of the senior leaders on the squad. She's definitely dialed in.
Switch leap. Kept her body moving. Unfortunately had a big wobble there. But like we talked about before, everything counts. And keeping her composure is very important. Gainer full. Stuck landing. Every 10th, everything counts. And she knew that and stayed on the beam.
And that's the #1 rule. So much so that it entered into the lexicon as a phrase. Stay on the beam in all walks of life. And she did it there. Another fall would have been very detrimental.
Trying our best not to count a fall, but also doing the best that you can.
Michigan State been very strong here on the floor. This is Ashley Hoflick.
This is a 9, following a 9-9 performance from Leah Mitchell.
I mentioned they've got a whole lineup worth of gymnasts that are capable of that kind of a score on the floor.
Huge full twisting double back to open her routine.
She's had a 9-9 score in the books entering this year.
Very unique choreography, high level, entertaining. Switch half, popa, straddle jump. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You can tell that they spend a lot of time perfecting these routines and making sure that their dance is just as important as their tumbling.
And maintaining that elegance even with all the midst of all the power.
Final tumbling pass, front tuck through to double back. Steps forward, her chest was down just a little bit, but the tumbling was clean. That was a very fun routine to watch.
Was. Indeed. Ashley Hoflick finishing up with a pretty strong series of floor routines for Michigan State. And we'll see if Ohio State, a couple of miscues on the beam, if that would open the door for the Spartans, although Ohio State rather, had opened up a bit of a cushion with their exemplary performances on vault and bars. And they still have the floor coming up, which they were so strong. They ended up, as we said before, they came from behind and won that Penn State meet. And Michigan State, of course, still has the beam to come.
That they do.
Ohio State still has JoJo Warga, and she was the top beam performer at the Big 5 competition. Keep wanting to say Big 10. Big 5.
JoJo with that breakout performance. Huge score. She was incredible in that last meet. Looking to have a repeat.
That was her first career individual title. I'm sure a very memorable event in her gymnastics, or her starry gymnastics career.
Yes.
And certainly everyone on these squads has won more than their share of titles and awards. But that's got to be a memorable one.
Yes. We have a bit of a judges conference happening from Sydney Jennings' routine that just happened. May take us a while. That was a 9.875 for Skyla from Michigan State.
So what is this judges conference all about?
If I had to take a guess, I would assume that it was about her leap connection, her switch leap into her jump. She did bobble just a little bit. It looked like her body kept moving, which is crucial. They're probably just trying to decide if she got the connection. If they don't give her the connection, she loses a crucial element of her routine, which will allow her not to have a 10-0 start. If they gave her the connection, then it's just a mistake. But without that connection, it's a very significant deduction. And that's the difference between a 9.8 and a 9.3.
So that could be significant in terms of this meet.
A 9.575 for Sydney Jennings. It looks like they definitely hit her hard for that leap connection, unfortunately.
Well, JoJo Warga is going to need to have a repeat performance here, that 9.925.
Beautiful full turn to start the routine off. Front aerial. Back handspring. Beautiful. You can see her talking herself through this beam routine. She's saying those cues that help keep you focused and grounded. Switch half, beautiful execution. One of the most difficult leap elements that you can do on beam. That front kickover caused her a little bit of trouble there. She actually takes a step out of it, regains her focus, and keeps going. Gainer peg off the end to a stuck dismount. Again, the game is stay on the beam, and how well can you stay on the beam. She recovered nicely from that wobble out of that front pike and sticks her landing. One last routine for Michigan State.
This is Bailey Garcia in an exhibition. She's one of their top gymnasts.
Huge double pike, strong landing.
Beam is her primary event. And she and Stevens have combined for 7 titles this year, but obviously at home on the floor. She had a 39.3 all-around score, which is just shy of entering the top 10 all-time for Michigan State.
Second tumbling pass, 1.5 front layout. Gorgeous. I'm not sure what the judges are taking off.
She won the all-around title against Ohio State and Illinois in her second collegiate meet.
Last tumbling pass, double back, 6 landing. Definitely the best floor routine we've seen from Michigan State. These routines just built upon one another.
And it was the exhibition. And we've seen a couple of outstanding exhibition routines from
That
Michigan
was
State.
the anchor for Michigan State. That was Ashley. Skyla was before her. So that one counts for them.
All right, well, hey.
Huh.
They have the list of Bailey after Ashley as an exhibition. So we're back on the beam here. It's Colby Miller. For Hannah Oliveros.
JoJo before her with a 9.8. This is an exhibition for Ohio State. Six a landing. Beautiful routine for Hannah. I'm sure that's one of those routines that Ohio State would have wanted to count in a lineup situation. Take a look at her dismount, side aerial to a full twisting layout. 6 a landing. Not the rotation Ohio State wanted. Unfortunately, they're going to count a 9.775 and a 9.575. Ashley rounding out the floor lineup for Michigan State with a 9.925. That was a massive lineup for Michigan State.
Could that, combined with Ohio State not having their best day on the beam, could propel them right back into competition. But this is Bailey Garcia's exhibition.
Ohio State holding on by a 1/2 tenth of a lead. We're looking at 147.45 to 147.4. Ohio State is just holding on to that lead. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail on floor and put up some big numbers.
We mentioned that at that Big Five, they were both very, very close in their scores, and it appears that it's going to be similar today.
Front layout, front full, good execution. Round off back handspring, double back, sticks it. Her chest was a little low, but her feet did not move. Colby Miller as an exhibition on beam for Ohio State. Full turn.
If they flip the order on this one as well from our original sheet.
Hannah with a 9.775 before Colby. Hitch kick, side aerial, beat jump. Beautifully done by Colby. Split jump, shuttle quarter. Full twisting tucked gainer to a stuck dismount. Way to go, Colby Miller, in that exhibition spot for Ohio State.
And once again, we could say that they could have used that in their regular lineup today.
I'm sure they would have loved to drop that 9.575 and throw a 9.7 in there.
So we're getting ready now to switch to the final event. Now, typically, it's gymnastics version of letting the home team bat last. They get to go on the floor, which is often a strong event for teams, especially at a high level, and the beam is maybe the most challenging one. We mentioned this Penn State scenario before, but certainly Michigan State is within striking distance at least here, and if they can really have an outstanding day on the beam, and Ohio State says something less than their capabilities on the floor, which of course we saw them just nail it in that Penn State meet when they really had to, they're still within the range of having a competitive chance here, but this is where Ohio State's great performances on the vault and the uneven bars have certainly helped put them in a strong position anyway.
Absolutely. Ohio State is very consistent on floor. Michigan State is one to watch on beam as well. So we have ourselves a much, much closer competition going into our last rotation.
I'm sure that if Ohio State would know they would have this advantage that they have going into the floor, they would feel like they're in strong shape. So they've put themselves in position to win, which is what you need to do. So we will take a break and we'll be right back. So Ohio State with a slight lead, but a lead going into that final event, which they'll be on the floor. Michigan State on the beam, which typically is an advantage for the home team, but not necessarily today because Michigan State is 7th in the nation on beam. So if they perform as they typically do, Ohio State's really going to have to be on top of it to maintain this narrow advantage that they have as we see Michigan State's beam lineup. And I think that we have the potential for some dramatics here to close out this meet in the same way that we did a few weeks ago when Penn State was here.
Absolutely. Ohio State is a powerhouse on floor. You're at home. You're in your arena with your crowd. This is what you practice for. And Michigan State they're coming in strong. 7th in the country on beam. They're fantastic beam workers. But Ohio State has a little bit of an edge right now. And they're having a great meet. So we're going to see where this comes from, where this goes for us. Starting off on beam for Michigan State.
It'll be Sydney Ewing. That's their floor lineup. Alyssa Wiedemann. And Michigan State with very little margin of error, obviously, if they're going to come back. So the pressure's on for all of these athletes, but of course they're used to that.
Step out. Saw an excellent extension through her fingertips to her toes. That's what you want to see. It's what we're looking for in every element, even that full turn. Cat leap, kick over to beat jump. No break in rhythm. Another beat jump into a shadow 3/4. She's very solid, working her way through this beam routine.
High beam score entering this year was 9.825.
tuck full gainer to end with a stuck dismount. That is a beautiful, beautiful leadoff for Michigan State, setting themselves up with great momentum to end this meet. Savannah Gonzalez on floor for the Buckeyes.
She's got to try to do the same thing, set the tone for her team. So we see that replay on that first beam routine.
Beautiful double pike for Savannah. Her toes were glued to that floor. Savannah has beautiful artistry on this event. Front layout, front full, very clean landing.
Sophomore from California.
Wonder if she's cold in this Ohio winter.
I would say there's a pretty good chance of that. Only appeared in one meet as a freshman last year, but has really stepped it up this year.
Earned her spot. This leadoff spot is very crucial. It sets the entire lineup off. We've talked about that a little bit today. She's doing a great job, having fun. Teammates are dancing with her in the background. Last tumbling pass for Savannah. Front layout. Oh, excuse me. 1.5 punch front layout. Beautiful, beautiful leadoff routine for Ohio State. That should garner quite a great score. I can't stop saying great because it was just so good.
You had a lot of great ones there in those first couple of events.
Absolutely.
But there's a fine line between great and good at this level. So
right.
Here we are next for Michigan State on the beam.
Gianna
Khalif.
9.85 before her. Back handspring, layout, step out. Slight foot movement on the lunge. Tuck full into a beat jump. Strong connections in these leaps.
Another Californian here. Corona, California, sophomore. Has all-around capabilities.
Cartwheel, gainer full, stuck landing. This is a game of details. When the scores are this close, we're looking for stuck landings and execution on these skills. Slight leg separation in the gainer full, but I missed it the first time at full speed, so I wonder if the judges saw it.
Hope they were blinking at that instant.
Right.
So Ohio State will have to keep the momentum going with JoJo Warga.
.985 for Savannah Gonzalez to start off for the Buckeyes. JoJo is so fun to watch on this event. Two and a half, punch front, huge. Huge punch front, controlled landing, switch half will full right into her choreography. Doesn't miss a beat.
It's her sophomore year as a freshman. She competed in 4 meets, all on the floor, so this is a good event for her.
JoJo worked her way into these lineups and has been putting on a show.
Mentioned was the top beam performer last week, so she's becoming more and more versatile.
One more pass for JoJo here. See a big smile. Front handspring, front double full, perfect landing. Her team loves it, the crowd loves it, she loves it.
And we're back to rushing them after every performance.
And we're headed back to beam to follow a 9-9 from Gianna.
Now Gabby Stephen. This is where they need her to really come up big for them, as she has done so often, and
wow,
just as a freshman.
That is an exceptionally hard skill. A front toss in a laid out position, a completely blind landing, and she didn't flinch on that landing. Very impressive.
It was a 9-9 on the floor in last weekend's competition.
Back handspring layout, step out. She had a slight knee bend there. You want to see the extension through the toes to the hips in a straight line. Feet jump. Shuttle half. Gorgeous. The elevation, the extension. Wow. Just a dismount. Wow. Double twisting, dismount, sixth landing. Effortless, gorgeous.
Starting to get some indication of why they are so highly ranked nationally on this event.
That's a 9-9 for JoJo from Ohio State. Last look at that double twisting, dismount. Her smile as she's saluting. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Those contortions should be humanly impossible. In slow motion, it's even more impressive in many ways. And now we go back to Ohio State on the floor. Claire Gagliardi.
Front layout, front 1.5. Clean landing from Claire.
She's a very dynamic floor performer.
She is as animated as they come. This routine is jam-packed with difficulty, artistry, a story.
The type that you just wait for the opportunity to watch her perform.
Get a little bit of jaws happening. She's looking, she sees it. Swim away, Claire, go, go, go.
She's on the last year's Big Ten All-Championship team.
Last tumbling pass for Claire. Double pike. Little short on that landing. Again, you always want to step backwards, but it was a huge double pike. Way to go, Claire. Gabby Seaman with a 9-9 for Michigan State.
Equaling what she did at the Big Five last week, which shows great consistency. And
consistently going 9-9 is not an easy feat, so good for her.
Skyla Schulte up next.
Beautiful display of flexibility to start off her routine. Good leap connection there. Small break between the leaps. Not sure if the judges will take that. Back handspring, layout, step out. Good chest up, slight knee bends in that layout step out. Again, you want to have that straight leg. Full twisting layout. Out of a side aerial. Another effortless routine for Michigan State. They are unstoppable on this event.
She's known for a great combination of athleticism and artistry, and we saw it there. Michigan State is living up to their reputation on the beam, keeping the pressure on Ohio State on the floor. And next up is Alexis Hankins for Ohio State.
Claire Gagliardi with a 9.925.
We're seeing a lot of big-time athletes answering the call.
Claire Gagliardi, a senior for Ohio State, she was the floor anchor for a long time, and she is a rock on this event. And you just saw it.
The pressure is on, and they are stepping up. Alexis Hankins now.
Incredible floor routine we are about to see. Just watch this first tumbling pass. Round off by handspring, full twisting, double back. Perfect landing. Incredible.
She came up with a 9.9 on the floor when Ohio State needed it to get to the Sweet 16, so she knows how to perform under pressure.
And it's fun to watch.
You never know she's feeling pressure to watch.
No, it's effortless with these athletes. We're seeing it from Ohio State and Michigan State. Front layout, front half, split jump. I love seeing the combination of tumbling and leaps. Shows such a high level of control. Switch ring. Torch K half. Beautiful. Little change up in music. She smiled this entire floor routine.
Imagine somebody having to make the big shot to win the game, and they got to have a smile long as
Right?
they're doing it.
Right. Round off back handspring, double back. Wow. Chest up, feet glued, perfect lunge.
She's got this crowd in the palm of her hand.
Wow. This is some fun gymnastics, and we are getting it from both teams.
Very much so.
Skyla with a 9.9 on beam just a moment ago.
Leah Mitchell up now.
The crowd is yelling 10 for Alexis Hankins.
Leah Mitchell, the first Michigan State female student to win the prestigious Wayne Duke Postgraduate Award. And a two-time All-Big Ten.
Oh. Back handspring layout, step out, and unfortunately comes off the beam. It is incredibly difficult to do a triple series. 3 elements all connected together. A lot can go wrong in any one of those elements. And it looked beautiful up until the end.
She's participated in 2 NCAA regionals, including the one in Columbus in 2018, so she is
An aerial.
very high-level performer.
And she's beautiful to watch. It's unfortunate that she did have that fall. Look at how beautiful that. Her leaps are effortless, full extension.
Just the illustration, it can happen to the best of them.
It's important not to let it get to you, and she knows that everything counts moving forward for not just her, but her team as well. Round off 1.5, small hop forward. Not the routine that she wanted, but the potential is there. It's not quite championship season yet. She has time. 9.925 for Alexis Hankins.
Really 2 monster performances from Claire Gagliardi and Alexis Hankins back-to-back. And now it's Alexis Edwards for the Buckeyes.
Crowd is clapping along. Round off back handspring, double pike, sky high. I think Coach Polisivic could have walked underneath her in the middle of that. One and a half front layout. Small step backwards there. Couldn't quite find the lunge. But she's having fun.
Everybody having it right along with her.
Switch side. Popa. Showing the flexibility.
Keeping everyone entertained, getting ready for this next big pass.
Round off back handspring, double tuck. Perfect landing, execution. Wow.
It's like being at a rock concert.
With all the people yelling.
Indeed.
It just keeps getting better and better. Leah Mitchell with a 9.0. Unfortunately, she did have that fall, but there's still Bailey Garcia, and she is excellent on this event.
Still a 9 in spite of that slight miscue. Bailey Garcia, another one of their top performers.
Handspring layout, step out, effortless, beautiful.
She got a 9.9 on beam. Tied for 24th
Wow.
on the all-time MSU beam list.
For an aerial split jump, I would say that if you had to look up perfect, that would be it. Switch lead, split jump. Her extension is unbelievable. Side aerial, full, sticks it. Wow. That's how you come back from a fall, a next to perfect beam routine. And they're chanting 10, as they should.
That was just seamless combining of elements.
Ohio State had a 9.925 for Alexis Edwards. Jenna Lavac, huge pike full in. Beautiful lunge out of it. That is an E tumbling pass. It is so exceptionally hard. And she did it. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. 1.5 front layout. Great landing. Little Britney Spears to round out our night.
This is the anchor routine. Might as well leave it all out on the mat.
A 9.9 for Bailey Garcia.
Coach is leading the rhythmic clapping.
If there's one thing that Meredith does, it's clap along or dance along.
Yeah.
One last tumbling pass for Jenna Lavac. Double tuck, sticks the landing. Zoe Schweitzer is doing it with her in the background. Wow. Wow.
What a performance. They're right back to it, the zone they were in at the start of this competition.
Let's look at that last tumbling pass. Round off, back handspring, double back. Feet are glued together, sticks it. Wow. Wow. I don't think I have seen a floor rotation better than what Ohio State just did.
Well, one would certainly think, given the fact that they had a slight lead going into the last event, that should be enough to maintain it.
I think they may break their school record, or break their record from last weekend with that score.
Their last outing was the 4th highest score in program history, the highest in the last 10 years. That record may not last that long.
Much longer. We're seeing another great beam routine for Michigan State here. And there it is, a 9.925 for Jenna Lavac for a 197.075. for Ohio State.
So they eclipsed the 197 mark after being 196.9 last week. And that should secure victory in this meet for them.
Going to see an exhibition from Ohio State. Round up by handspring double pike. Absolutely gorgeous. Little hop out of that lunge. One and a half front layout.
This is Caitlin Grimes. Freshman from LaGrange, Illinois. Illinois State Championship runner-up last year.
Very fun to watch. It's hard to do these exhibition routines when your team is essentially done competing. Knowing that your school just made history, your teammates are still right there behind you because you're not quite done yet.
Everybody's still in a festive mood and you're in front of 3,000 people, so that's certainly got to
double back.
Be an inspiration.
Beautiful.
Well, that's the value of these exhibition meets too, because you just can't replicate this in practice.
Absolutely.
And by the look of the exhibition performances on both teams, they've got a lot of great performers in reserve.
A lot of depth to these teams. Elena with a 9.8. We still have one last exhibition for Michigan State. I'm sorry, side aerial. Little bobble there. Back handspring layout step out. Good form in the air. Slight foot movement on the lunge.
Exhibition or counting, it's all the same to the to the gymnast up there.
Beautiful beat jump to stag jump. Round off, 1.5. Small step forward on the landing. Overall, great routine and a hard place to be in with the crowd going crazy. Rounding out our competition for today.
Yeah, and what a competition it was. On the entertainment scale, it was off the charts.
Incredible, incredible meet we saw today. A lot of fantastic gymnastics, incredible routines. The level of competition today was one of the highest we've seen it in Covelli. I'm impressed with both teams.
We were talking about this beforehand, that at this point in the season, 197 is kind of a threshold, and if you can get over that, then you know that you're where you want to be, and Ohio State just crashed over that, and they've got to be feeling really good. This back-to-back outstanding performances, and they seem to be just getting better with each passing week.
Absolutely, and for both of these teams, there is still a lot of room to grow. Ohio State did not have the beam performance that they wanted to have. Michigan State had a little bit of a rocky start on vault and bars today. So there's room to grow, and the Big Ten is definitely something to be reckoned with moving forward in championship season. Don't count the Big Ten out. Well, they're coming for you, SEC.
Ohio State is now second in the conference all alone. And if they nail the beam routine the way they did all the others, it's bring on Michigan, right?
Right.
Bring on the school up north. They are, of course, #1 in the nation. They are pumped down there.
Athletic Director Gene Smith congratulating Ohio State on a job well done today.
Well, they were under a certain amount of pressure going into that final event because they did not perform up to their capacity on the beam. Had they done that, they might have had some breathing room, but maybe that brought out the best in them because they're certainly competitors down there.
Yes. They are competitors. All of these athletes that we saw on the floor today are, and no one gave up. That's the name of the game. And I think that this just adds for a much stronger competition come Big Ten championships that are here in Columbus.
Yeah, that's a happy group down there.
Ecstatic.
Of course, the crowd right down there on top of them showing their appreciation. We're going to have the final ceremonies. And we'll see who the champions were on each of the individual events and the all-around individual champion.
OH chant breaking out. You talk about some of the parents of these athletes. You know, Ohio State and Michigan State are not that far from one another. I would bank that a lot of families are here watching their daughters compete. And it is a long road to be parents of a gymnast. It's a lot of hours, a lot of driving. And to watch your athlete compete today in such a way that they did today, all of these girls looked so incredible. I would say we have a lot of proud parents in the audience today.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
Right.
Your dad was a smart one. He figures if he's going to follow you around, he might as well be your coach.
Right. I got lucky. Both of these teams are led by powerhouse freshman and sophomore classes, and these two teams will only get better with time.
Well, that's official now.
Wow. It's such an honor as an alumni to be here when this team made history. It's really very special to watch. I'm proud of them.
And they greet each other, and you know, regardless of the outcome, there's a lot of mutual respect down there.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure watching Michigan State grow as a program as well. I'm sure their coaches are just as proud and happy. They've had such an amazing season thus far. We've talked about it. I think that all coaches and athletes should leave Covelli today with their heads high.
Well, last week's performance for Ohio State was the 4th highest score in program history. A week later, it is now the 5th highest score in program history. And it had been the highest in the last 10 years. Well, it has been eclipsed, and it took just 1 week to do it. And you really, especially given the fact that there was a lot of room for improvement on the beam, you really have to feel like there's a lot of growing and upside still for this team in the future. It's going to be exciting to watch them build towards the climax of the year.
Absolutely.
So
maybe we'll get to see that at Big Tens. Another program high, hopefully.
I'm sure that is very much on their radar screen. So a great afternoon of gymnastics between two outstanding programs. Ohio State wins it as the alma mater resounds here at the Covelli Center. That will do it. Thanks for being with us, for our entire crew, and Lexi Matter and Greg Franke saying so long, everyone.